Hello, Muhammadina. How are you? Good. How you feeling? What? What's the name? Huh? Kayla after the Baba, of course. No, so seiner gute bet is should be a schus for the Baba and a schus for you. And she came from a very choshev family of Yidden. I mean, I think it was Abramowitz. I don't remember exactly. Her father, I remember her father. Her father was a sheikhet, was a choshev Yid. They come from Yidden. Bnei Teda, people who really truly fulfilled the Teda. In order to be frum when she grew up, you had to really be very deeply rooted, because those who weren't deeply rooted all became frei. So she was a very strong advocate, not just for frumkeit, for Yiddishkeit, but for Chabad, because without her and her husband, Chabad would have been the fringe movement that it is now, considered. But in those days, Chabad became, more household in the Frum community because of her and Moshe. They gave Chabad legitimacy. It's just the way it is. At any rate, so seiner guter Wetter, and it should be a good schus, and the child should grow up to be healthy and happy and successful, and to godly, to gadluha l'teira l'chupla meisim tevim. And how is your issue with your catheter? You still have the catheter? It's very painful, a catheter. I mean, I know I had a catheter, but I had it as an older person in my 60s, not when I was in my 30s. Um, yeah. Huh? What? Yeah, there are drugs, or there are medicines that can help one with those issues. If sometimes depends on what exactly the issue is. You had it the last when Rosie was born, or you had it when no, you when Baruch was born. No, yeah. No, hopefully they'll find be able to heal it, and you'll be able to be normal. It's much better than going with a catheter. Catheters are very painful, and they're prone to infections. We don't want that. So you have to be gesund. You have to be a healthy mother without any problems. All right, and Fitz, yeah, I did send some money to Fitz, so that's for the kimpet, and that's for help in the household. Don't do anything that's unnecessary that somebody else can do. And we'll treffen, Gesundheit, Freiligkeit. We're going to leave early, but I'm thinking I'm going to fly back because I want to be there for selling of the chametz. I know mommy may object, but it's politically I have to protect my turf. It's whatever. So anyway, we may get to see each other before Erev Pesach, and listen, it's not the ideal situation. I'd rather stay in Farmington Hills, but since Bami just can't do it physically, she just doesn't have the keiches, and she still stays up very late, but she just does not have the keiches, and we we don't understand to what a degree that she's really tired. She's tired emotionally and physically. Emotionally, huh? Go. Sagi Ben Shatzlochet Abba Muflaga. Thank you for calling. So Menucha Sora was a person who had deep understanding of the Rebbeinu Shalom, but no background as to the importance of Teda mitzvahs, because her rabbis, her teachers, did not impress her with the importance of Teda mitzvahs. They didn't believe in it, so why should she? You say, well, from people believe in it. Do they really believe in it, or is it just something that they do? I'm not going to go question that. But the commitment to Torah mitzvahs cognitively in the modern world is a very complex thing. And when she started becoming frum, it was a much deeper commitment than the commitment of ordinary frum Jews. And that's why, some people might have thought she was wishy-washy, but she wasn't. She was trying to explore, trying to become committed, even with knowledge or with ideology that was contradictory to the Torah mitzvahs. She was an accomplished counselor. She was an accomplished counselor, and she was sensitive to the needs of other people. She had incredible insight into people, into situations. She had the sixth sense of intuition. She could size up a situation, could size people up. Women have that, by the way, naturally. The sixth sense. People don't believe, but they actually do. Bina yasera nitna, be'isha yosem be'ish. A woman has observation powers greater than a man's. Maybe because she's more vulnerable, but the Torah says, "Vayiven es atzela," that God built the tzela, that God gave the tzela. That means the woman who was built from a side of Adam, bina, vayiven. And so the woman has greater insight, understanding, and insight into things, into people, than a man does. And she had incredible insights into the natures of people and how she could help people. And all the same while, she was trying in hope that her life would be improved, her life would get better, her health would get better, her relationship with her children, from whom she had become estranged through no fault of her own. She got unwell, and it was decided against her will that because she was unwell, she was no longer fit to be a mother. Who decided that? I don't know. What the criteria? I don't know. But it was totally unfair. She was able to get back to herself. She was able to deal with things, deal with people, and she certainly would have been able to be a competent mother and take care of her children. And she was hoping to be able to see them and to reacquaint them with her, and to create a relationship. That was not to be. Her happiness was short-lived. But at the same time, she was extremely deep. So the time of her happiness was a time of a deep spiritual and emotional happiness. And she was able to study, she was able to learn, and get insights that other people take a lifetime to learn or never do learn. She was a deep, sensitive person with tremendous insight and a sadness. She wanted something that she had in her background that just never came. Identifying that's what it says, Tzoma lecho nafshi, my soul thirsts for you. Because deep within her soul was the Kabbalist side of her, the side that knew that there's a God and sought this God out and wanted very much to be connected to this God, but found it so difficult. Found it difficult to cope, found it difficult to believe exactly as was told, but yet she wanted this God and this relationship with God, and that was the source of her longing. And I believe that at this point, she recognizes that God is not so distant, and the things that she could have done would not have been so distant for her, except that her education, her background, prevented her from embracing it. And she has to be understood in context of the depth of her soul, her background, her education. And therefore, we not only can't judge her, we can only judge her favorably. A person who had this deep sensitivity for God, whose life was cut short, whose happiness was frustrated, whose hopes were shattered, and yet had this innate faith and love and a desire to pursue truth. She's going to be missed by a lot of people, but she will find happiness, has found happiness with God, and hopefully she will remember all of us well, all those who knew her, all those who loved her, all those who cared for her. And I want to especially say, especially her brother Adam, who not only was her friend and her brother, but devoted to her beyond the call of duty. God bless you all.